So real quick, before we start this video, I just want to say that I'm not a Porsche mechanic, and what I'm doing with my car is just the way I'm going to do it. But at the end of the day, I always want to put on there that it's your responsibility to do your own research on how to maintain your car. So, don't take everything as what I say for this specific car that it will apply to your car, as I don't know that. I'm just going through and showing you what I did when I did my car, and that's it. So we'll just put it as entertainment purposes instead of a how-to video. Again, I just made this video because when I did my research, I had the repair manuals and maintenance manuals and things like that. And I watch a lot of videos on YouTube. And I'm sure there's somebody out there that did the thorough thing as I'm doing sort of now, and probably did a much better job explaining it. But most of the videos, if not all the videos I watched that I can think of, did not show what I'm going to show you guys on this video. And it's extremely important because when you maintenance your transmission, like I said, you want to make sure you take care of your car so it lasts a long time with as little problems as possible. So that's why I'm doing it. As my wife plans to keep this car for quite a while. She really enjoys it. We don't need it breaking down and $20,000 transmission or this or that or anything else. So refer to your maintenance schedule on Porsche and go through and do all the work. And finally, this is like the intermediate or major service is supposed to be done around 40,000 miles, 50,000 miles. And some of the stuff like per Porsche says, you can change the oil. When we bought the car, it only had 20-something thousand miles on it, like 25 or 26,000 miles. And the oil interchange intervals were set at 10,000 miles. Well, if you know anything about cars and you've done your research on oil loses most of its ability to protect your engine and stuff at a maximum of around 7,000 miles. So that's why I put in this video, we change it every 5,000 miles. Once the oil starts getting dirty, the best thing to do is change it. You know what I mean? Don't leave it in there. Don't keep running it. And that's my point. If you do that, you can make cars last a very long time. Do they break down? All cars break down. But you don't need to be burning up engines or transmissions that are extremely expensive to replace. And when a transmission goes bad on this thing or an engine, it becomes like a paperweight. So again, for entertainment, but informational purposes is the purpose of my videos. It just gives you a little bit of extra information so you can do your own research and you can do your own maintenance on your car. I appreciate you guys, and hopefully you're able to use the video. I apologize that I recorded it and it actually had a wider view on it, but when I stretched it to fit onto the YouTube thing, it looks like it's zoomed in, so you're not going to see everything of what you want, but you'll get the point of everything because you still get to see it. So thank you. So what's up, my fellow YouTubers? So today we're doing a PDK oil change on my wife's daily driver, twin turbo Porsche Macan S. And we've already gotten the fluid drained out of it already, so it's looking good and everything. And I'm gonna get ready to pull the filter that's on here. Let me find it real quick for you guys. But yeah, we're gonna pull it. That takes a 17mm socket. It's the same as like if you were changing the oil on the car. So I'm sort of doing, so a lot of people don't really talk about it. So you got the PDK transmission, which everybody, you can find plenty of videos on that. We're gonna check and see on this too, because now I could be mistaken, but this also has a drain plug in it. And then the back final drive, which I'm gonna have to take the cover probably off this too, to be honest. Let's see if it does. It does. It also has the final drive. See if I can see it for you guys. There you go. Also has a drain plug on it. So my thing is, for me personally, myself, is these transmissions and stuff are like really, really, really expensive. So I'm doing the intermediate or major service. The car only has 42,000 miles. I literally just hit it. We change the oil every 5,000, and we're getting ready to bring it down to every 4,000 miles. Porsche says you never have to change none of this fluid in this thing. Obviously, I would check it and change it if it is separated from the transmission fluid itself, because the transmissions are extremely expensive. I think if you buy a new one, they're around $20,000. I've found them used on eBay, but again, you know, you run your chances. You don't actually know the condition or the maintenance of that transmission. I think you can get from around $6,000 to $10,000 on eBay. They are very expensive. So around 80 to 100,000 miles. I'm gonna go ahead and pull all these bolts. You got to pull these cross member, torque the yield bolts, blah blah blah. You got to take all that off, pull this off, and has an inner suction filter like any other automatic transmission. I'll end up changing that next. But when I drain the fluid on it, you know, again, drain plug right here, just show you guys, you know. And then you have your fill plug, which let's see if I can get you up in there. You have the fill plug. Hopefully I can see it. Hopefully you guys can see it. I'm trying to see it. Oh, there you go. So it's right there in that hole right there. You know, so if you're looking up from the exhaust, there it is right there. You know, the opening for it. And again, the filter takes a 17 millimeter, pull that off. It's got a little paper filter that'll go in there. But I want to change all this fluid and make sure it's in really good shape. My wife loves her car. You know, it does drive really super nice. The fluid was really, really, really clean. But I do want to check the rest. So that's your final drive. That's on the very back of the transmission. And then you actually have your clutch. So your clutching and gearing is on that part of the transmission. And then you have your PDK and transfer for your all-wheel drive on the front part of the transmission. So I want to just sort of service all this stuff and just sort of check over it. It's a little early for the full service on the car, but you know, we don't want to take no chances and have the thing break down or something else. It's just not worth it. So we did the brakes and everything else on this thing not too long ago. Eventually it'll need new rotors too, but they're not bad yet. So you know, it's just a really nice car, so you gotta really get on it and maintenance it. Definitely don't want it all beat up. So yeah, I'll let you guys sort of see what's going on with that. Yeah, I got to buy a premium dual clutch automatic transmission fluid. I'll put that part as the video in here, show you guys sort of what's going on with that. I bought it on Amazon. I think I got like 6 quarts of it for about 80 something bucks or 90 bucks. You know, a little pricey, but again, you know, the car's expensive, so you definitely don't want it having problems and falling apart. And the reason I'm making this video is, again, I'm going to make some bad decisions, as I always like to do, because they seem to always work out for me, is I'm not going to do all the steps that they described with the transmission. And the reason for that being is when I drain the fluid, it's just a little over 5 quarts. So I leveled the car, you know, open the door, put like a little plastic level on there, you know what I mean, and get it pretty close to being like level, whatever. So as you guys can see, it's like pretty much perfect. And then I did the same thing on the back trunk of the car. You know, inside when you open the trunk, I set it down to make sure the car's level. And once I did that, when this thing has all the fluid in it to where it's supposed to be, which is my point of this video, is it was about 5 1/4 quarts. So I might do 5 1/2 after I pull the filter, because I know that little housing will probably have a little bit of transmission fluid in it. So I'm figuring 5 1/2 quarts. And I'm going to explain that again, because everybody's like, oh, you know, that's stupid, blah, blah. But let me explain something to you. If you didn't change the fluid on this car drove great. Perfect. Right? So if I didn't change it, it would still only have 5 1/4 quarts in it. You know what I mean? And there was nothing wrong with the car. And when it was perfectly level, it barely drizzled out of the fill plug, which per Porsche says that that's the exact perfect amount of transmission fluid for this car. So it would make sense that if I put 5 1/4 quarts in it, right, it's going to have the perfect amount of transmission fluid in it. Again, no different than it did otherwise. And I understand what they're saying. I will end up putting the 5 1/4 quarts in it, and I will run it and then get the transmission warmed up but not hot. Obviously, I think you're supposed to keep it under 104 degrees. And then of course I'll check it again. And if it drizzles out, it should be full. I'll go take it on a short little test drive, which of course will get the transmission above temperature, but then I'll let it sit and then again level it. And if it pours out, it's good. You know what I mean? It's not a big deal. So once it has the amount of transmission fluid in it, it should be fine. It won't be a problem. We know we did good. It's not going to be an issue. So yeah, it's pretty early on the major drive. Like I said, the car only has, 42,067 miles on it. So it's way early. Realistically, you're not due for like the intermediate service until around 50,000 miles, but I figure screw it. You know what I mean? Why not? And again, I can't stress enough, if you do enough research on these cars, you got to do the maintenance. You got to stay on top of it, because if you take care of them, they're a great, fun, super reliable car, and they'll last you a long time. If you don't take care of them, you don't do all the transmission fluid or all the fluids like I was showing you, we need to check each 3 of those areas. Your PDK transfer, front part of the transmission, your second part, which I showed you guys, which has all your clutches and gears in it, should share fluid with the PDK. It should. It really should. But we're going to double check just to be sure. And then the final drive, the back side of the transmission, we're going to check that too. Because when I'm done with it, my wife has it and drives it every day. I want it to work and last and not have issues. We don't want it breaking down and having a bunch of problems. So that's sort of where I'm at, and we'll see what happens, man. You guys take it easy. So we'll change the filter real quick. You gotta change the O-ring, which is right there. Clean the inside of it, make sure it's all good. We got the new filter, which I just showed you guys pictures of. We got everything sort of ready to go. Like I explained before, it's a 17 millimeter. To take it out, there's the filter housing. We're gonna put the filter in first, this way, and sort of get down. That's good right there. So it's all the way in there. Rub a little bit of the oil on just the little O-ring that's on the end of it, just to be sure. This is already, like I said, I've already cleaned this out. Put the new O-ring on it. Always start the stuff by hand. Just not worth, again, chancing it. So if you'll notice it, hopefully you guys will see it. See those 3 teeth? They're gonna eventually click on that. So when we get it down, we know we're gonna be tight to make sure it's good. Again, 17. So we're gonna go ahead and flip this around so it's the right way. We're gonna start tightening it down, And this is snug coming off, so it's gonna be snug going on. So hopefully you guys will be able to see it. Yeah, see it's getting close. So we want to get that tightened all the way down, and then we wanted to get it on those clicks. I think I took it off, it was only on the first one. So yeah, I just felt it, there's one. We're gonna go ahead and there we go. Good to go. And it just stops it from backing off. I just stopped till it's on there. But as you can see, there's your 3 teeth. You guys seeing it, like it moves a little bit, catches, you'll feel it too when you tighten it on there. And then that should be good. I'll clean it up. Filter's good to go. New O-rings, new paper filter, so we're good. We'll go on to the next part. So what's up, guys? So I just pulled that drain plug on a final drive. And I know you probably can't tell, but there's a big difference in cleaning this. So when you have the plug on whatever else shows you on the videos on the pan, and they just pull that, fill there, put a new filter, and they're like, yeah, it's good. That's a lie. That's BS, man. Because you can look at that fluid, really clean. That is your fluid. So they are not in the same reservoir at all.
completely different conditions. This stuff's dirty. And this is all your clutches and gears and everything else. So if I actually had my choice between what would actually need to be changed, definitely change the gearbox section of the PDK, because that was like brand new. It looked literally no different than my brand new fluid. That's how clean it was. And then as soon as I got there, big difference. I mean, this stuff, it's way different in quality, way dirtier, and it's supposed to be the same fluid. So yeah, definitely not good. Definitely need to change it. And remind you, this car only has 42,000 miles. There's no metal, there's no chunks or nothing, but you better change it, man. You better change it. Because like I said, these transmissions are not cheap. Definitely not cheap. I thought maybe they'd share the fluid, you know, because, you know, normal transmission, wherever that's at, you know what I mean, it's going to share it. It does not. It has its own fluid for the gearbox section, its own reservoir. So I just want to show you guys that. Alright, so now we're going to go finally to the last part, which is the final drive. I'm trying to go with you guys on this shit. I'm using this motherfucker, I don't care. It's a T50, so it's probably like an 8mm hex one, but it fits in there nice. I already loosened them up, so I'm gonna pull this. Okay, it ain't leaking. It's got some thread sealer on it, which is good. But we're doing this because we want to keep an eye on shit, you know what I mean? We want this thing being in a position, like I said, where, you know, it's going to be a problem. We definitely don't want that, you know what I mean? So, and like I explained before, you know, we want to keep an eye on this stuff. You know, I watch a lot of videos and I've seen things that fluid looks better. So my theory, and I'm sure somebody will correct me when I'm wrong, so what I'm thinking is the front part of the transmission is actually automatic. The gearbox is just, you know, a box that doesn't have natural pressure to it or nothing. So we got a little, this fluid's a little bit dirty too. So I'm just hoping it'll go in the thing real quick. But, you know, I don't like deceptiveness, man. That shit pisses me off. Because when you look on there, I don't know if I can record and get this to go at the same time or what. We'll see what happens. But I'm probably gonna make a mess of myself. Whatever. What I do to get some views, man. Just got shit all over my concrete and everything. But you see the difference in that, man? I mean, that's dirty, man. You know? And again, smell, it's the same shit that was in the rest of the transmission. So like my point with all this is if you do what everybody else does on the videos, you're just gonna change the front and you're gonna leave all this nasty ass, disgusting ass oil that every mile, every 1,000 miles you put on without it being changed, right? It's just creating more and more wear on your $20,000 transmission. And then you're gonna be like, what the hell happened? You know, transmission fails, you pull the fluid up there and it looks good. You know what I mean? But then all of a sudden you pull back here and it's gonna be full of metal and clutch material and everything else if you ain't maintaining it. So I don't care what Porsche says, I don't care what anybody says, man. You want to take care of this car because you know it's a nice car. Maybe your wife drives it, maybe you drive it, whatever. But you don't want to have to spend. This is cheap maintenance. It's like $200 or so for all the oils and stuff and the little filter. But I mean, at the end of the day, you know you have peace of mind. You've done everything you could to take care of this car. You know, and it's very frustrating that, again, like all my other videos, you know, people take the easy way out, you know, and send you these videos and they don't do a complete job on this thing. This car is not abused. You know what I mean? It only has 42,000 miles on it. So it's, you know, and like the fluid's real lubricated, you know what I mean? It's in good shape and everything, but it's dirty, you know, and as the oil gets dirtier and dirtier, it has less of a capacity to lubricate and take care of the components in the transmission, you know, and then eventually all that dirtiness is debris in it, and eventually it just gets more and more and it starts chewing up, you know, bushings, bearings, and anything and everything else that's inside, you know, inside the transmission, you know what I mean? And so it's just, to me, it just makes a lot of sense. Just go ahead, get it done, change it, and do right, man. It's not that big of a deal. This thing probably has, like, I think the final drive looks like it might only have about a quart. Yeah, I mean, if that, I'd probably say it might only have like a half a quart of fluid in it. We'll say a quart on the safe side. It looks like the gear part of the transmission. Again, this is just eyeballing it. I won't know until I actually measure it, but I'd probably say that the gear drive probably has around 3 to 4 quarts. And then you got, like I said, about 5, 5 1/4, 5 1/2 at most for the front. You know what I mean? So, you know, you do the math on that. What is that? Like, say 4, 1, so 5. So, you know, 10 quarts, 11 quarts if you want to be on the safe side of the dual clutch fluid. And you got everything you need to go through and start changing it out. And these aren't filters, so you're just draining it, re-putting it back on there, filling it. Same thing with that one, you know. And then you'll do the same thing with that one. But I just want to make this video, man, because I like to be honest and be transparent about stuff I do. And I do a lot of dumbass decisions. But I'll tell you one thing, I am cheap. So I don't want to spend more money on anything than I have to. And $200 for oils, which sucks, but at the end of the day, if it saves a $20,000 transmission and this thing will just keep on going, it looks good. Not to mention that, you get tired of the car, you have all this stuff that you've been doing, you're keeping records of it and everything else. Guess what? Guess what the number one hurtful of resale value, even though these things seem to hold their value, like once, if you buy them used, they hold their value really well. But the number one thing everybody will tell you about is, oh, you know, it's a Porsche and it's hella expensive and this and that, you know, and you know, the fear is like when we went and bought one, it's like, you know, how was it maintained? How was it maintained? Because if it ain't maintained right, you don't know what the hell you're getting into, you know. So I just want to share that with you guys so you guys know, and I hope you guys appreciate it. You guys have a great day, and I appreciate you guys stopping by watching my videos, man, and give me a thumbs up. Michael, I appreciate it. Take it easy. So just real quick to finish this off, like I said, anybody tells you otherwise about the just change the filter in the front fluid, just remember what I said. Call it for what it is, man. Yes.
Bullshit detected. Take precautions.
I love that shit. I don't know why. I think it's funny. But yeah. So, you know, there you go. 42,000 miles, 67. So, you know, like I said, change all 3 of the ports for the fluid. And you know what? You did a pretty solid servicing of the transmission. The only thing you got left realistically, and you'll find other videos, which is true, you could do that if you really want to do it completely through. Drop the cross member, like I said, and then pull the pan and then change the internal suction filter. Put a new gasket on the, you know, for the pan, reinstall the pan. And then if you did that on top of everything else I did, you have fully serviced the PDK transmission. So like I said, just keep that in mind, man. Nice cars, but take care of it. Like I said, anybody tells you just change the front fluid, or you watch those videos, or Porsche says don't change it, you know it's what?
Level DEFCON 5.